All right, I think we're back online here. I deeply apologize for that disruption, folks. Looks like we had a series of power flashes here, not power flashes, but power disruptions, surges, if you will. So I deeply apologize for the interruption there. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and we need to get right back into it because I see the rotation looks like it could be trying to intensify right in the Palmer area here. So this tornado warning has been allowed to expire here. We're just under a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, but it looks like it's in the Palmer area. I believe this could be trying to re-intensify here. So that's what we're watching. And let's see. I've got a few messages coming in trying to make sure I'm keeping up with all this information. So yeah, between Waxahachie and Palmer right now, this is where I think we could see the rotation trying to kind of revamp itself here. So be watching this very closely in the Palmer area. If we can get the radar, yeah, looks like we could be trying to get that notch back between Waxahachie and Palmer there. Let's, again, do another kind of broad view here because we got this whole line to watch. So this is where we were seeing the rotation before. And again, we had this solid line. Now, that's a good thing. That will eventually reduce the chances of seeing the circulation come back. It's not impossible, but you could still see that. Now, I want to make sure that we watch a couple of things. You have strong winds in this storm moving into Hillsborough right now, moving towards Italy and Milford. So strong winds there. I don't see particularly severe winds in this storm, but if you have a severe thunderstorm warning, that means winds of 58 miles per hour or greater are possible. So that's what you're going to be watching there. And then as we get east of Waxahachie here, this is where I'm concerned that we could see, let me back that off a little bit, could see rotation continue again. So as this moves eastward here, that's 45. Ennis, Ferris, Palmer's right in the middle there. Get a little closer to get that town on the map there. This is where I'm concerned. We don't have a tornado warning currently at this time. It has been allowed to expire. Matt, I don't know if you've heard anything new from spotters. Okay, so the warning, yeah, the warning has been allowed to expire here. And again, this moving into the Palmer area, we definitely need to watch that. If you're to the west, again, west of 35, I would say if you really are okay, back in the Red Oak, Oak Leaf area, Ovilla, I think you're okay. Ooh, man. All right. Yeah, if you're in Palmer, I want you to take shelter immediately, right now, because you see where these bright reds and bright greens are coming back together. We need a tornado warning on this. Hopefully the National Weather Service has that locked and loaded. But again, you see the green and the red starting to come together, starting to tighten there. That's that couplet right there. So could easily see rotation tightening up very quickly here. This could be happening just as quickly as it did before. So the first tornado warning we saw, we started going, you know, hey, there's a notch there, we need to check this, started to see circulation, and bam, there was the tornado warning. So could very easily see another warning here issued very quickly. I say we need a warning. To me, again, we see this rotation starting to tighten here, right here. That's where you have that couplet. That's where you have the red and the green, which is winds blowing at different directions. That is tightening right there. So let's zoom in a little bit, kind of get a little more cozy here with the view. And here's 879, here's 878, that's 45. So this is Palmer now. So just outside of that area, right here, this is where we see that brighter green and the brighter red starting to come together. That is that circulation. So I'm watching to see if the National Weather Service is going to issue another tornado warning here. But I will tell you that we absolutely need to take shelter on this. Terry, yes, you are good to get the boys back to bed. The all of the excitement has cleared out. So the Waxahachie area, everything is east of you. Again, this is where I'm watching, right here between Palmer and Boyce and Ike. This is the area where I'm starting to see this rotation come back. So we need to be watching that very closely. Again, there's not a tornado warning at this time, but I would not be surprised if another one is not issued very, very quickly. I think that we could easily see a tornado warning issued very, very soon because we have rotation that's very clearly trying to tighten up here. And seemed like it took less than that to issue the last warning. So we're going to continue to watch this, but if you're in the Palmer area, I want you taking shelter right now. If you're in Palmer, if you're in Garrett, if you're east of Palmer there, frankly, in the Bristol, Crisp, Alsdorf, Sand Lake, really from this area, from right there at 878, 879, and 45 on to the edge of the county. All of this area, I want you taking shelter right now. Looks like it's going to stay north of the Ennis area. But Garrett, I think you're close enough. I would like to see you take shelter at this point. If you're along or west of I-35, I want you taking shelter at this time. So you're clear, actually, I should say. So Red Oak, Waxahachie, on down, you're clear. The rotation has moved east of you. Now, very heavy rain, frequent lightning in that area as well, so make sure you're paying attention to that. And really, again, in Hill County there, that area as well. But yeah, we're definitely seeing rotation trying to intensify here. So this looks like it's kind of moving between Palmer and Garrett here. So I would say, really, if you're in Ennis, probably a good idea to take shelter in that area because looks like this is kind of taking a southerly kind of push here. So Palmer, take shelter. Garrett, take shelter there as well. Ennis, between Palmer and Ennis here, along 45, take shelter right now because we could very well be seeing this trying to rotate again, trying to pick up circulation once again. And if you're just joining the stream, I know we had that disruption with the power. Unfortunately, that happens here, and we're actually working on ideas already on how to avoid that happening again. Yeah, Waxahachie, Red Oak, that area, you're clear from the tornado threat, but you still have a severe thunderstorm in your area. Hail, strong winds, frequent lightning, very heavy rain possible in those areas. So not okay to go outside, but yes, Waxahachie, Red Oak, Ovilla, Oakleaf, down to Italy and those areas. You know, you're not included in a tornado warning at this time, and it has moved east of you. Just again, to give you a broader view here of what we're seeing across the whole area. So again, here's where we're seeing the area of rotation, right near Palmer, Garrett, and Ennis here. Down the line, though, the front of the line here, still seeing some strong winds. Could be seeing some gusty winds from Cleburne down towards Whitney as well. So yeah, we're looking at the possibility of some strong winds there too. These storms that are behind the front line could still be capable of bringing some hail. And again, I'm gonna take a look at this west of Hillsborough here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a kink in the line there, but I'm not seeing any kind of inflow here. So I think we're okay just there, just southeast of Whitney. But we will keep an eye on that for sure. Let me see if I can pull up one more screen here. Yeah, I think southwest of Hillsborough, I think we're okay. The main area I'm concerned about right now is right here near Palmer and Garrett. And let me make sure Ennis is on the map as well. So this is the area of concern that I have. We're starting to see that rotation trying to intensify here. So I'm waiting to see if a new tornado warning will be issued by the National Weather Service. To me, we are seeing that getting better organized now. I mentioned that could happen. And again, right in the Garrett area. So yeah, it's definitely kind of taking a bit of a right turn here. So right in the Garrett area, I want you to make sure you're taking shelter. We don't have a tornado warning at this time, but I'm seeing enough of a attempt by this storm to try to wrap up and try to rotate again. So make sure that you're taking shelter in that area. I just need to thank some folks from Venmo. Got Meredith Jones, Erica Morin, Paula Schultz, Adrian Wilson, Derek Johnson, Eric Durbin, Matt and Elizabeth Mecklenburg. And so I think that's caught up. Thank you so much for the donations here. And again, thank you, Drag Up Coffee, for keeping me going here. And all right, so if you're, and really it's a long 45 here. So I want you taking shelter in that area. If you're in Crisp, Alsdorf, Creechville, over to Sand Lake, all of these areas need to be taking shelter right now because we are looking at an attempt by this storm to reproduce that rotation. Let's go back over to the regular reflectivity, and you can definitely see where the inflow is trying to intrude on this storm. It doesn't look like it's quite as successful yet, but we definitely have the indicators on that velocity view, which is where we get that's where we can see the wind speed and direction that rotation is still trying to pick up. Let's do another broad view here and just kind of get a better idea of what we're seeing. Again, when we were talking about this earlier tonight, this is more of what we expected to see. This straight squall line moving through. It got here a little early, and then when it was moving through, we had that one last supercell thunderstorm that hadn't quite congealed with the rest of the line. As soon as it got into the Midlothian area, right along the county line, hey, that's when we very quickly saw rotation increasing, and that's when we saw the very real probability of rotation, and then almost immediately after that, we saw that circulation pick up. So I will say from Ennis down towards Hillsborough, we're starting to see this bow out a little bit. So moving towards Avalon, Blooming Grove here, that area, this is where we're going to kind of start to see maybe some increasing winds. Milford as well, really outside of that area. Let's take a closer look there. So right here, just moved through Milford and Italy there, so towards Bynum, moving right into Hillsborough now, towards Mertens, Frost, Blooming Grove, Avalon, Rankin, Bardwell, Bird, over towards Ennis. So this part of the line, I think, is where we're starting to see possibly some increasing winds. Palmer, you still need to be in shelter in that area. But this area could see some increasing winds in the next several minutes here. So that will need to be watched. Moving over towards Whitney and Meridian here, definitely some heavy rain in that area. Not seeing a severe thunderstorm warning outside of the one in the Hillsborough area right now. So frequent lightning and heavy rain in the Meridian area, but not seeing anything severe warned for that particular area. Back here in Ellis County, this is where we see this severe thunderstorm warning, where I'm still concerned we could be looking at rotation. That rotation may not necessarily be sustainable at this point, but right in the Garrett area, moving towards the Ennis area, moving towards, I would say, the Bristol area here. More like Ennis, Creechville. So this is kind of the notch that we've been paying attention to. Sounds like the baby doesn't want to go back to sleep either. So. This whole thing has made it fun for the family there, but the storm north of Ennis, this is where we're seeing that rotation trying to recur there. I think it's very possible that now that we're seeing this congealing into a line, probably having a harder time organizing its rotation. That's the good news. So I think that that may be why the National Weather Service is holding off on that warning. We still see this here, though. We still see the greens and the reds not holding on. It's not holding on to that organization. It tried, but it's not holding on to that organization. I think that we will see more straight line winds coming out of this. That will make it harder for any inflow to get into this storm. So that is a good sign. We are looking at good things happening here, cutting off that inflow that will cut off that rotation and help to continue to mitigate that tornado threat. So that's where things stand. I want you to still stay safe in the Garrett area. Palmer, it looks like you have cleared the area of rotation there, but I know that there's rural areas that consider yourselves Palmer, so if you're southeast of Palmer. I would say, kind of stay in your safe place right now. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. But the trends are pointing to that rotation weakening. So that's probably why the National Weather Service has not issued a new tornado warning yet, because they're confident that this rotation is not quite going to be able to hold on. So that's going to be a good thing. Now, I do need to catch up on this a little bit, and I'm not really even sure where I passed off, but Meredith Jones, Amy Bloom, Rudy Hill, Mikhail Kellner, Kevin Spence, Mackenzie Gary, Shannon Cottongame, Ashley Segelli, I apologize if I butchered that just now, Angel Collin, and then Victoria Oliver. Thank you so much for your donations to the organization tonight. So, still watching this, still cautious here. I'm very cautious, especially as quickly as that rotation ramped up before, just outside of Venice here, just north of Venice here. Still watching this area. I'm still concerned that rotation could quickly develop there. But the good news is, again, that we are seeing more of a straight line wind situation, which will make it harder for that inflow to revamp that rotation. So, I mean, you can still see, again, you can still see the inflow trying to intrude here, trying to get back into a rotation here, but not quite happening at this point. The National Weather Service has not issued a warning yet, so I'm confident that they are seeing signs that that rotation won't be sustainable. At this point. So here's the kind of the whole area. Let me back off a little bit more. Here's the whole, kind of the official area, right? The 4 counties. We have Ellis, Hill, Johnson, and Navarro. Just now starting to move into northwestern Navarro County here. You've been quiet so far. You've been calm. Let me knock on wood. You've been calm so far, but this is what we expected to see. This straight line, this squall line. Unfortunately, we had that one storm, that one supercell that held onto that supercellular structure and managed to rotate. So, I mean, if we take a broader view here, all the way from north of Gatesville through Meridian, Hillsborough, up through Ellis County, Kaufman Terrell on up towards close to Dangerfield there. This is the squall line. This is what we expected, and you can see all of this moisture back behind it. If you ask me, I think that this is going to continue to move on, and we will probably be done with this severe line. Johnson County is really calming down now. Hill and Ellis counties are getting the thick of it right now. This will continue to move on. We'll move into Navarro County here, into southern Hill County, and continue on. And I think that our area will be clear completely, all of us, cleared of all of the severe weather, probably by, I would say, 1-2 a.m. It's going to take a little bit to get through, but as it gets organized and the wind really starts pushing it, it will pick up speed. So, probably another just a couple of hours or so of this. And I think after that, we will start to see more of, you kind of see all of this moisture behind it. We could see rain up until, 4, 5, 6 a.m. possibly. But I think after that, I think we'll be okay. And I think we'll be pretty okay by the time we're getting the kids up for school, getting them to school, getting to work, all those kind of things. Let me check in with the family. Okay, I'm just kind of checking in with the family, checking in with some information here. And thank you to Nina, Alyssa, and Brian for your donations as well. I greatly appreciate that. This is kind of where we're at. So the tornado warning was allowed to expire. We do have, let's just kind of go down the line of what we're seeing here. The good news is we're not seeing that rotation maintain its structure in the Ennis area. So it looks like we're out of the woods, I think, right now with that tornado threat. That might be a stretch. Let me go back in some the comments are coming faster than I can even handle here. Chris Andrade, I mean, he's talking about a fundraiser. I mean, we have the Cash App and those kind of things posted. What we can even do is, direct that over to that solution to prevent these power outages. Because I will tell you, I was pretty hopping mad that was going on. I mean, we were right at the height of this, and that kept happening. I mean, power kept dropping. So we will definitely be working on that solution here. Now, the other thing I need to talk about here, the good news is that most of this appears to be moving fairly quickly. In Dallas County, Tarrant County, Rockwall County, there are flash flood warnings going on right now. The good news is this looks to be moving pretty well at this point. So it's definitely still on the move here. We are looking at an increasing wind threat getting into the Blooming Grove area here, but it's going to continue on. And okay. So we still have all of this moving through. Again, the good news is it's moving pretty quickly. And, so it's going to continue to progress southeastward. And as it does, the flooding issues won't be as intense for our area. The other thing, too, is that you happen to have you have the urban areas, you're depending on that urban drainage there. Oh, there's a smile. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Oh, okay. For his second appearance on a live stream, I don't think, it was a live stream, wasn't it? Where I was feeding him. He's quite a bit bigger now. Quite a bit, yeah, you can see yourself. See, the last time we were doing this, he was looking at the screen, then he looked at the green screen, and he's trying to figure out what in the world was going on. But, wipe the nose there. So this is Jensen, for everybody that hasn't met him yet. I guess we're going for broke. We're just going to have the most viral stream we can here. We got a tornado, and then we got this little kid, which he himself is like a tornado, so, I mean, I guess that makes sense. This is the one confirmed tornado we have tonight, so... okay, you don't play with the microphone, baby. Kid loves water. That's a great thing. So as I was mentioning, when it comes to the rainfall that we're looking at here, I'm not seeing too much of a flash flood problem because these storms are moving more quickly. And again, Fort Worth, Dallas, Rockwall, you're depending on that urban... Are you interrupting me? Do you know more than I do? Are you smarter than... Well, you might be a little smarter than me in some places, to be honest with you. And if there's no sound, let's see if we can help... who's that, April? See if we can help her out to try to figure out that problem. But when you're dealing with this urban flooding, you're dealing with, in the urban cities, right in the city center, you're dealing with all of the drainage and that kind of thing. Down here, we got grass that can help absorb the rain, and creeks and those kind of things. So we have, nature's way of draining that out. So the good news is we don't have flash flood warnings yet. Plenty of lightning though. I mean, I can see it outside of the window here. Very prolific lightning. I look like a ghost now. I think now that I have a second and the world isn't crashing down, maybe I can fix that. This is what happens when I can't afford to pay a producer. I have to do it myself. Maybe there we go. I look a little more lively now. And you're saying in frost. Yeah, so it's just moved into your area. So you're going to have wind-driven rain there, very heavy rain, all that good stuff. And his sleeper is Star Wars, so he fits right in. But yes, we continue to watch this. Things are calming down in the Red Oak area. More Midlothian, Burleson, Cleveland there. So, that's kind of where things have calmed down just a little bit. At this point, the tornado threat, I think, is gone. I think that's pretty well mitigated at this point. Mostly a strong wind threat. Not sure we have damaging winds at this point. That may be an issue. Again, in the Frost and Blooming Grove area. Looks like right that frame, right in Hillsboro. Right as someone said, it's hitting Hillsboro with a vengeance. We could be looking at a developing hail threat there. That pink could be looking at bit of a hail core trying to develop there. I just saw a comment, a couple of things that I saw. Now, first I saw, is it going around Corsicana? Has not made it to Corsicana yet. Don't worry, you'll get your turn. It's headed your way. And I've been asked if Tiger can come in. I don't know where Tiger is. Tiger's probably regretting the fact that he's not inside right now. He's probably out hunting mice or something. So, yeah, so you have lots of reports of Hillsboro right now. So let's kind of take a look at a couple of things here. Velocity.
From the water sucking noise that's coming from his sippy.
Yeah, he's very his water. He's very loud when he drinks water. That's Terry. She's on the floor right now.
I'm in a nightgown. I'm not standing up.
Well, of course. All right, and I thought I saw somebody talk about donating a generator. I don't know if I saw. I don't know what that was, or donations for a generator, something. But yeah, we're going to work on a solution to keep these power outages from disrupting, because I've never been so frustrated and embarrassed as when the power went out, flickered, 8 times?
It was ridiculous.
In the middle of a tornado warning, right? So we are going to get that fixed. Absolutely. So yeah, now a new severe thunderstorm warning issued. Yeah, you saw that too, didn't you? New severe thunderstorm warning issued, including Corsicana, Hillsboro, Italy. So another severe thunderstorm warning issued now south of all of this. So let's get that on the screen here. You were asking about Corsicana. Here's that warning. Let me get back to the reflectivity here. Okay, let me get the right view here. Yeah. So here's that new warning, severe thunderstorm warning for now covering all of Navarro County, the rest of Hill County into the other southern counties here, and that's going to be until midnight. Oh, you ready to get down?
He was just looking at me and smiling.
All right, there you go, buddy.
Hi, sugar.
Have you finished your 15 minutes of fame? Oh, don't fall. Oh, you want to go to the drawers and pull those out and get into stuff. Well, this is like the one time you really definitely can't do that. I've been interrupted several times already by the storm, so just, let me work here. So in the Ennis area, I know you're probably wondering what's going on there. The tornado warning, the tornado threat looks to have mitigated there. That was the rush of a lifetime, right? Things have kind of mitigated there, and then you're in the Ennis area, you're getting hit with very heavy rain, probably some gusty winds, frequent lightning right now, but you're not getting tornado threat right now. So at least that has calmed down. I'm going to attempt, my Lord. Okay, thank you to Lisa, Taylor, Shelton, Amber, Greg, and now Priscilla for your donations to the Cash App and Venmo. Those keep rolling in. I always feel a little bit awkward because when terrible, scary things happen, you guys donate very well. So I always tell people when I see you out and around town, I'm sorry you only really see me when things are scary, right? Let's hang out on a sunny day, right? Like the line in Twister. Why can't we spend a normal day together? So we're going to try to find other ways to meet and greet folks when it's nice outside. And check this out. Here's the good news. When we get through all of this absolute chaos, we're in the 70s by this weekend. Next couple of days, we're going to be right around 80 degrees. We're in the 70s with lows in the 50s. Lows in the 50s. This pumpkin coffee will actually feel right. We're going to have lows in the 50s by the time we get to next weekend. And there goes Jensen getting into the comfy chair. He's gonna supervise and make sure I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the best I can, buddy. And I used to, think to myself, I don't have an HR department.
We're not touching the chair.
HR department's right here, married, so she keeps me in line. Keeps me going, but keeps me in line. And Prestige. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, so Matt has brought my attention to the winds in the Abbott area. This is Abbott just north of West in McLennan County. He's going to be just south of there. We'll take a look at this and we'll kind of keep an eye on it. We saw how quickly, and Prestige Contracting, thank you so much for your very generous donation there. Jessica, thank you for your donation. So in the Abbott area right now, we're looking at kind of an uptick of winds here. And so we'll keep an eye on that. I don't see anything that immediately has me concerned, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We'll kind of watch that to see how things progress. Really, I think my main concern here is the winds moving into Blooming Grove. You guys in Blooming Grove have had enough as it is. I'm getting applause here, so hopefully I'm doing a good job. But you guys in Blooming Grove have had enough of it already. Looks like winds could be increasing here. We've kind of been talking about that, right? Where we were seeing some winds picking up here. And let's get this cord out of the way so he doesn't shock himself or something on that. Studio's not exactly the best place for you, bud. Oh, and a tumble. All right. So I was concerned about the winds increasing here along kind of this bow echo. So that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. And how are we losing? Looks like the green screen's moved a little bit. Not sure how that happened. Might have touched a button here. Okay, I think we're good there. So this is, and you're asking about Alma, that's kind of the same area. So anywhere along here, especially in the Blooming Grove area, that's where we're seeing these winds increasing. Yep, there it is. So right there in the Blooming Grove area, increasing winds, we could see, there could be a little bit of a downdraft trying to develop there. So a bit of a hail issue possibly there between Blooming Grove and Rice. That's going to be closer to M House. Yeah, M House Berry area. So could be seeing some hail, a bit of a hail core developing there. So that's going to be continuing to move towards Berry and possibly towards the Corsicana area. We'll continue to watch that. But you see this kind of bow shape here where you have this tight gradient. It's very smooth on the front. That's where you have your increasing winds. So, excuse me, I'm not terribly concerned about the hail sizes here, but definitely looking at a wind threat for that particular area. We were talking about in the, let me get a wider view here. We were talking about a possible area of winds trying to rotate a little bit in the Abbott West area. It doesn't look like that's quite holding on at this time. So we'll continue to watch this as it progresses southward. Again, this is what we were expecting at this point, more of tonight. Not the tornado that we had earlier, or at least the tornado warning. That was a huge rush. We had a power issue there. Fortunately, I think that, I think where the tornado threat, I think, is over for tonight. So let me kind of clear some folks. I know that you're wondering, can I go to bed? That's the biggest question at this point, right? So what we have going on right now, where you see the red, this is the squall line that we've been watching. So really along the leading edge of it, from Abbott and West area back to Hillsboro, up from Italy to Blooming Grove. So you got Frost in there, Avalon, over in Ennis, over towards Alma, about to move into Rice, on up to Kaufman. So this is where you have the strongest part of this line. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue really all through this area. The severe thunderstorm watch continues through 2 a.m. And so this will continue to move into northern Navarro County here, continuing to move southern Hill County and eastern Ellis County as well. Behind that, you have possibly some rain, could be spots of heavy rain, rumbles of thunder, not what we have here. But I would say if you are really behind all this, if you're in Johnson County, the severe threat has left you there. If you're north of Italy and north of Waxahachie, really from Waxahachie, from Ferris to Waxahachie and Maypearl over into Johnson County, then things have cleared out there. Hill County, still some heavier activity there. And then over into, again, southern Ellis County, eastern Ellis County, and then moving into northern Navarro County now. No confirmation of a tornado at this time. A comment on the YouTube channel with all the power flashes following the rotation, fairly certain there was one. And I've said the same thing, right? those power flashes are a key indicator people usually watch for when it comes to nighttime and rain-wrapped tornadoes. Those are almost impossible to see. It just really, really limits what you can see there. So we have not had confirmation at this point. It may be one of those situations where we have to get a damage assessment from the National Weather Service over the next couple of days, hopefully by the weekend, to determine if there was a tornado there or not. But at this point, I can't confirm it. I'm just looking at radar. Spotters saw the signs. They saw the signs you need to see to pretty well call that there's a possible tornado out there. But we won't have that confirmation probably until at least tomorrow morning, if not in the next couple of days. And I will keep you updated on that because I will be very interested to see what occurred there. The good news is that when we lost power, the rotation was trying to ramp up, never went anywhere, from what I could tell. So I don't believe it went anywhere after that. I think once the power went out, I think the rotation had kind of choked itself off. I think we covered really the most dangerous part of that. My cousin Allie asked me to cover Waco. I don't know if I can cover Waco all the time, but Allie, this one's for you. The Waco area, you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't think you're under a watch at this point. I don't think there's watches south of Hill and Navarro counties at this point. But yeah, in the Waco area, we are watching this line, which will continue to build back towards Gatesville and Hamilton there. So you'll have a heavy line of storms come in, and you'll have kind of that opportunity to get some of that heavy rain, some gusty winds, but that kind of thing. And Rhonda, yes, Waco has TV stations. There's a television market in Waco. It goes from Waco down to Killeen and Temple. That area, it's a small market. But yes, they do have their own TV stations, which is why I haven't really officially covered Waco. But usually if I'm covering Hillsborough, it's headed towards the Waco area. I'll usually give you a little bit of a heads up. But yeah, Waco area, it's still going to be... and Cameron, I haven't seen any rude comments yet. Maybe Matt's shielding those from me, but I think it's been pretty good so far. But yeah, we'll watch this continue to move towards the Waco area. And yeah, we'll continue to see those approaching that area, but it looks like the severe weather threat hasn't really established itself yet. Now, later on this evening, yeah, it could be one of those things where you're looking at stronger winds as it gets more organized, but right now things are not that terribly fearsome right now. So I will say that I don't think any of our area has a tornado threat at this time. No tornado threat really right now in the Hillsborough area that I can see. We'll do a quick peek-poo here. You can tell I'm getting tired because I'm being silly about it now. Yeah, I don't think that we have any kind of rotation going on there. I'm a little concerned in Blooming Grove here because we're still seeing signs of some increasing winds there. Could be a little bit of a downburst there right now. So in the Blooming Grove area over towards Frost down towards... what is that? That's, okay, yeah, towards Raleigh and Emmett there. So that's 667 here. Here's 55, so right in this area, kind of right in between all those. Could be looking at a quick burst of winds there. So, be careful with that in that area. We've seen plenty of these storms that have these downburst winds that can make a big difference. Now, I need to catch up here and say thank you to my good friend Joanne Livingston for your donation, Abba Lawrence, Kayla Young, and Jordan Gossett. Thank you so much for your donations. And I am incredibly blown away, and I'm not going to quote amounts, but I'm incredibly blown away here. I think we've got enough here. We can start looking into generators and that kind of thing. So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we're looking at some stronger winds possibly, but not too... thank you, Jessica, for your donation. Not anything too terribly dramatic here, I think. Still want to watch that, though. You still want to make sure it's a good idea to be away from windows here. Kind of try to be towards the center of the house. This is not a tornado situation, but those straight line winds can still do some damage there. So as plenty in Navarro County have seen so far this season, really in the summer and in the fall so far. So we do have that moving towards Corsicana. This is the wind, okay? This is not the rain. This is the wind, and you see very clearly where those strong winds are. So that's going to continue to move into the Corsicana area. Let's get back to this reflectivity here. And you'll see that tight gradient I was talking about. That tight gradient here, where you go from light rain to very heavy rain very quickly. And that's going to be that heavy rain, those strong winds. So that's continuing to move into Navarro County here. And let's broaden this out just a little bit here. And I know I'm getting asked about Powell and Kearns and Roan here, this area. So it's not quite there yet, but it will continue to move in. So we're going to continue to watch this move that way. Here's 31 right here, and here's 45, okay? Here's 22. So these areas, and you see again, right here where this bow is, this bow shape, that's where the strongest winds probably are going to be, kind of surging there. So from Dawson over towards, again, that's the Emmett area, Navarro Mills, Silver City, again, right along 31. That's where you're going to be looking at possibly some of these stronger winds. And let's get a broader view here. Again, we'll look at this velocity one more time, a kind of a broader look. Now, we do need to pay a little bit of attention in the Malone area because we're looking at what could be one of these kind of notches trying to develop. So let's keep an eye on this and see what happens with the radar trends. We just got this update, and sometimes the problem is, I've been talking about how these squall lines help to mitigate the tornado threat. It helps mitigate it, but it doesn't completely take it away. So we are going to be watching this area. So over towards west, towards Malone. I'm not saying you have tornadic rotation right now, but I'm watching to make sure that it doesn't try to develop here. Sometimes you get these little kind of bumps in the line, these little kind of kinks in the line where you have strong winds, and sometimes those will try to spin up a little bit. Sometimes they can spin up. Number one, it's very quick. Number two, it's usually pretty brief. But it can very quickly happen along a line like this. So we'll definitely have to pay some attention to that. And we'll be watching that. Now, Jen Cole got another, you're saying that you got another warning for Midlothian. If you're looking at a warning system that's giving you a whole county, there's a new warning, I think, for far eastern Ellis County. No warnings in effect for Midlothian right now. So just keep that in mind, that we're not looking at any kind of warnings right now for the Midlothian area. You may just have gotten a notification that covers the whole county, right? So, but warnings don't really work that way anymore. So whatever you're following needs to get updated, because warnings, we don't really work on warning an entire county anymore. It's an area. So I'm getting asked about the eastern areas too. So let's take a trip over to northern Navarro County here, Henderson County, Kaufman County. So here's Kemp, Gun Barrel City, Malakoff, Kearns, over to Rice here. So this will continue eastward. No tornado threat here from what we can tell. Looks like it's just a severe thunderstorm. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning is winds of 58 plus miles per hour and hail an inch or greater in diameter. So that's what we're watching in that particular area. So we're going to continue to follow this as this moves eastward. And I know that we've got maybe some new folks that are tuning in here. Let me just check a few things. I'm trying to catch up a little bit on some notifications here. Obviously, the phone is about to light up here on fire, I think, because it's just about to blow up. But trying to stay on top of this. Let me see. I need to thank Jessica and Tier and Jordan for your donations. Thank you so much for your contributions there. And hearing about the Canton area. So let's kind of take a broader look. We're getting a little further out from the area here, but I know there's some Canton viewers. Not severe warned in that area, but yes, very loud storm. Going to be plenty of heavy rain, frequent lightning and thunder, but nothing severe at that point. South of Kaufman, that's where the severe thunderstorm warning starts, to Kemp, Gun Barrel City. West of Malakoff here over towards Kearns, and then from there. So this is the area we're watching where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. Thank you, Eric, for your generous donation. And we're gonna kind of keep watching this because we're seeing. And Matt, do I still have you on the line? Okay. Just trying to make sure because he gets quiet for a while, and then I'm paranoid now. We've had so many issues. Uh, he's probably tired of me at this point. Okay, we're looking west. That's what I'm looking at right now, Matt. Thank you. Yeah. So just east of west, because that's fun to say. Um, and we'll get to Corsicana here in just a moment. But on the east side of west here, far northern McLennan County, and this is going to be far southern Hill County. We're going to be watching this because I'm a little concerned about the possibility of some rotation here. No tornado warning here right now, but let me get a kind of a closer view. So yeah, west, Cottonwood, Hohen, Byram, Penelope, this area. Far northern, really the northern corner of McLennan County here. Could be looking at some rotation trying to develop there. We've seen how fast this can happen, folks, and we've kind of been seeing this in the periphery, but now I'm paying very close attention to it. So if you're in this area, here's 2114, 2311. Again, Tours and Leroy, here's 308. This area, this is going to be east of 35. If you're in this area, I would take shelter as a precaution at this time. Again, there's no tornado warning here, but just as a precaution, I would definitely try to take shelter there. If you're watching on Facebook and you know someone in this area, try to share this stream. We don't normally cover this part of, we don't usually cover McLennan County here, but this is enough in our area to where we need to keep an eye on it. So if you're in this area, make sure you get someone's attention. Thank you to Sylvia for your donation. So thank you, Dawn, for your donation. Definitely, let's keep an eye on this here. Okay, north of Tours, north of Leroy, east of the town of West. Abbott is going to be right up here too, so south of Abbott. This is where we're watching possibly some rotation trying to develop here. And so we will, I don't know if maybe the Waco stations, Allie, you'd probably be able to tell me what the Waco TV stations are doing. Jana, you're asking how to make donations. We can get the Venmo and Cash App posted here. Matt will do that for us. Okay, we got another update here. Thank you, Veronica, for your donation there. This update, I'm a little less concerned now because we're not quite seeing the kind of inbound, outbound winds that we were watching. So not really too concerned about that area. And as we look across Navarro County, there are some pockets of stronger winds here. And moving into Corsicana, definitely some gusty winds. South of Rice here, yeah, so I think somebody mentioned that in the comments too. And right in the Tupelo area towards Roan, south of Chatfield. We'll keep an eye on this as well. Definitely some strong winds here. Definitely some strong winds north of Corsicana here. That seems to have popped up in the last couple of frames. And that could be... It seems a little bit lopsided in terms of if this is inflow, it's a lot less intense than this is. So we'll watch that, but that could be a downburst right on the leading edge there. Let's get a look at the reflectivity here. Not seeing a hook there. If anything, seeing a little bit of a tiny little bow. Not that that can't turn into a hook eventually, because sometimes you get those winds out and then that kind of pulls in some inflow and there you're off to the races. But looking like a little bit more of a bow there, so I think that might be what we're watching a little bit more than that. And yes, definitely some heavy rain in the Rice area there too, Blooming Grove, down towards Dawson and Hubbard just moving in there. So this is really what we're watching. Most of Ellis County, really, if you're in the Alma area, Alma Rice, that's kind of where you're getting some of the heavier activity right now. Obviously up into Kaufman County. Most of Ellis County is clear from the severe weather threat at this point. Again, east and south of Ennis, you're still kind of a severe weather threat from Italy down to Milford. You're still in that warning there. But most of Ellis County, really all of Johnson County and northern Hill County right now, pretty much clear from the severe weather threat. And thank you, Brittany, for your donation. Man, those just keep flying in. This is nuts. So we'll definitely try to work on fixing that power issue that we had. Because, man, oh man, if I can fix that, I am definitely going to do it. Drove me crazy. Let me try to fix... I know it's almost Halloween, but I don't want to look like a ghost here. A little more color in me, man. I'm pale, but not that pale. Ashley, thank you for your donation there too. No word on any damage in Midlothian. Um, haven't really heard anything new on that. Thank you, Jana, for your donation. And let me check a couple of things here too. Let me see here. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it doesn't sound like Office of Emergency Management is very active here, which I assume is a good thing. I imagine if things were more dangerous, they'd be, uh, you know, probably more active there. So we'll take that as kind of a no news is good news kind of situation. Um, let me check here. So okay, we'll continue to watch this, and I know down here towards west we've kind of still got this. We'll kind of keep an eye on that, but it doesn't look like that has held any kind of organization. So I think we're okay, but we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But the strongest part of this is moving into Navarro County right now, and then Southern Hill County getting hit pretty hard here, possibly some hail there, that kind of thing too. And yeah, so we'll be looking into watching all of this as this continues on. In case there's anybody that's new to the stream at this point, yeah, Ennis is pretty much you're pretty much done at this point. Still plenty of lighting in that area, so I wouldn't go outside, but I would definitely, I would definitely look at this as and as things are calming down now. Okay, you're kind of starting to calm down, so you're going in the right direction. Thank you to Hannah and to Emma for your donations. Thank you so much for that. Alvaro, you're asking until what time is this storm? It depends on your location. So I got to know kind of where you're at. So let me kind of reiterate too, and I said this earlier in the evening. We'll take a big broad view here, and let's add some frames to this just so we can get a kind of overall view of things. Of course, this is all moving in ahead of the cold front, and you mentioned Rice. Things will be calming down in Rice here in the next several minutes. Obviously, the heat of this is moving into Corsicana now, but this is the heat of that line. Again, from northern McLennan County, southern Hill County, moving through right in the heart of Navarro County here, up into far, far eastern Ellis County, up to Kaufman County as well. So that's where the most intensive activity is. And then back to the northwest, you see there's still rain moving through, but none of this is severe. Okay, this is pockets of steady, maybe some heavy rain, rumbles of thunder overnight, really that kind of weather you can sleep to. So that's what we're looking at there. This is all the heavy stuff, and it's as I mentioned this morning, it very well could. It's picking up speed as it gets more organized. So that's what we're watching for in that area. A couple of things I want to pay attention to is right here from Corsicana down towards Hubbard. We continue to have some strong winds on the leading edge of this. Corsicana, it's just now moving into that area. Small hail, heavy rain going on. High water rescue happening in Palmer. So there could be, and then flooding in Ferris. So I don't think that we're going to be looking at widespread flooding issues from this, but there are some flood-prone areas that got a lot of rain tonight. So those flood-prone areas are going to be the main concern for the flooding issues. Now we've gone down towards west and Leroy, over towards Byrom there. I'm not really sure what that is. We're seeing this rotation trying to ramp up again. We've seen this try to ramp up before. It couldn't really maintain its structure, but it looks like it's trying to ramp up again, trying to rotate here east of the town of West, north of Leroy. Here's 308 here, and this is Hill County. This is McLennan County. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on this because we could definitely be looking at that rotation trying to ramp up again there. Allie, if you're still watching, my cousin Allie, that is, if you're still watching this, can you tell me what the TV stations in Waco are saying? I'm very curious if they are still watching this. And heavy rain. Winds have calmed in Corsicana. So hopefully the winds in Corsicana, hopefully it's a quick run of those winds, and then just heavy rain after that. So, hopefully we get more kind of clarification there. And Matt, I don't know if you can even watch a live stream of the Waco station or something. I don't know if you can pull that up, but I'm just very curious to know what the Waco TV stations are saying about that part of the storm, because it's definitely looking to me like it's trying to rotate. We definitely have the bow echo here, and then you definitely have what looks like it's trying to kind of pull this in, right? Trying to kind of rotate that around, wrap it around, and then you're getting some of that inflow trying to come in here. So it definitely looks like it's trying to rotate there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Lots of questions about Navarro County, so we'll cycle back that direction here. And plenty of heavy rain in from Corsicana to Dawson, really all of Navarro County at this point. If you haven't gotten the rain yet, you're going to get it. 2 segments I'm watching, one from really south of 31 now, that bow, and then another one here. So these kind of areas that are segments that are bowing out, that's where your stronger winds are going to be. The severe threat has really left Ellis County at this point, except for far southern Ellis County, around Alma, Rice. Still some intense weather there, but really it's kind of exited that point. Southern Hill County, northern McLennan County, and then Navarro County here. That's pretty much where the severe weather threat is mitigated to, and we're still watching. So it's going to continue to move towards the Kearns area. So Kearns, Powell, Elm Flat here, so this is going to be moving kind of southeastward there. So that will be moving across 31 here in the next several minutes. Strong winds possible there. Very heavy rain, obviously. Frequent lightning and thunder. Could see some hail in those areas as well. So just keep that in mind too. And then we're going to keep watching this area. And so again, McLennan County, Hill County, here's Mount Calm, Hubbard, Penelope, and Leroy. This is the area where we're kind of watching possibly for some rotation, and just to kind of watch and see where that might be coming in. Thank you, Amanda, for your donation there. Very much appreciate that. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep a watch on this in northern McLennan County, southern Hill County. Because that's trying its best to rotate. It doesn't look like it's having that much luck intensifying, but yeah, you can definitely tell it's trying to rotate here. That is north of Waco. Just kind of get a broader view for those Waco folks. Here's Waco, Hallsburg. This is north of that area, and you can pretty well see. Channel 25 only has a banner running and a crappy radar view. So Waco TV stations may not have the best night right now. I don't know anything about the Waco television market, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm not familiar enough to really know for sure. But I mean, this area, you can see clearly. You can see the rotation here. And again, it's had trouble staying organized here, but it's not as intense. Let me check in on the family again, see how they're doing. Sounds quiet, so I'm assuming the little man. I think after his little visit with Daddy here, I think he's calmed down. So. He loves for me to hold him, so I think that one quick, I think holding Jensen for just a little bit. If you missed it, that's my 1-year-old son that made an appearance here. Got to run around the studio for a little bit and all that good stuff. So. Texting my wife here. All right, so I think we're going to make Jensen a little correspondent here. So Sonny, you're saying I probably should not missing anything, and you're the best by far in this area. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Miss SMW, Miss South Metro Weather is holding down the fort. She is, and she'll be driving the float on Friday as well. We'll be in the Waxahachie Homecoming Parade. I graduated from Waxahachie High School, my first time in the parade since I was in band. So, making a return to the Waxahachie Homecoming Parade. I'll see you guys out there. Brooke, thank you so much for your donation. So we're still watching this area, and again, I try to make sure that that we're kind of keeping a wide view here, because that's the challenge when you cover multiple counties. It can be easy to get really focused in on one area, and then all the other areas are going, what the heck's happening, right? So here's the whole area. Here's what we're watching. Let me put this into motion here so you can kind of see what's happening. Let me drop this down to half the frames. So here's what we have. And this squall line, this is what we expected. Yeah, Ellis County had a tornado warning earlier tonight. We've been on the air an hour right now. I think the last stream totaled out at what, 3.5 hours? Maybe we'll make a new record. We beat the record, set a record last storm system we had. We got to about 5 hours. And then let me see, I can't quite tell. Oh, only an hour and 33. Okay, so we're getting closer to 2.5 hours now. So okay, not quite that long. So it seemed like it was longer. I must have been looking at another number somewhere. And Mike, you're asking, please check the Bardwell area. Yeah, Bardwell, you're out of the severe weather threat. And yeah, we're not going to have any tornadoes on the backside of this. Any tornado threat is going to be on the front end. So yeah, we're not seeing anything, no tornado threat in Ellis County right now. Not going to have anything like that popping up on the backside of the storm. Let me just check one more thing here. And I'm getting asked about Freestone and Limestone counties. So we'll do a quick check there as well. It's not there quite yet. It's almost there, but not quite. And now, I will say in Freestone County, we will be looking at we'll be looking more or less Limestone, Freestone counties. Definitely a wind threat. Not quite seeing. Not really seeing a tornado threat in that area at this time. But yeah, so Limestone, Freestone counties for Fairfield and Groesbeck, we will see that continue on to the southeast, and mostly a wind threat there. And, really the same thing in the Kearns area. Strong winds, heavy rain going to be moving into that area. Not really a tornado threat. I do want to check back in on this area of possible rotation. I think we're still seeing some broad rotation west of Mount Calm here. So this is what we continue to watch. Again, it's just enough to have some broad rotation, but I'm not seeing anything getting terribly organized there. No tornado warnings there at this time as well. So things are definitely, things are improving, I will say, across the area. And yeah, okay, so we're caught up there. And folks are asking if Waxahachie is going to get hit again. Let's do another kind of broad view here. Matt, if you'll keep watching that area of circulation, just as a precaution. Don't think it'll go anywhere, but we have a history tonight of things very quickly wrapping up, so we'll have to watch that. But here's what we have across the area right now. And obviously this is the strongest activity. This is the squall line that we have coming through. And behind all of that, and we'll get to Gun Barrel City in just a moment. I've got a lot of people that are very loudly asking for that in the comments. We'll get there in a moment. But behind here, there's just scattered activity, okay? A few heavy showers, rumbles of thunder, that kind of thing. Not anything severe behind that line. So, not really too big an issue. Now, I'm getting several questions about Gun Barrel City. So we'll go ahead and take a trip over into Henderson County here. And the line is moving into Gun Barrel City, so you could have some small hail Gusty winds there, pretty strong winds possible, 50, 60 mile per hour winds possible against along the leading edge of this. Heavy rain moving in. Doesn't look like there's a lot of lightning out there, but could still be some frequent lightning and thunder with that storm as well. So that's going to continue to move in to the Gumbel City area, Currens, eventually towards Trinidad, Malakoff, that area too. So no tornadoes in this part of the storm. That's not really a threat over here as far as I can tell. But yeah, I think we're looking at mostly a severe thunderstorm threat. Severe thunderstorm, again, the threshold for that is winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, basically 60 miles per hour, and hail an inch or more in diameter. So that is what we're going to be looking at for Henderson County there. And let me see if I can get to the point. I need some water here. Man, that tornado warning in Ellis County earlier tonight, not now, but it was earlier tonight, that really that really made things get crazy. I mean, I don't think I've seen a storm go from, yeah, we might get some gusty winds to a tornado warning that quickly. Shoo-wee, that was nuts. Yeah, so all right, I'm communicating with a meteorologist here up in Dallas, trading some information there that we heard. So just trying to make sure we're all kind of sharing information. So yeah, not looking at anything near as intense as what we had. So that's the good thing, is we're not looking at an imminent tornado threat at this time. Towards Wortham, I know someone's asking about that. We'll get back over into Navarro County. That's going to be Limestone, Freestone County here. Line continues to move through. It's basically the same for just about everybody at this point. I'm going to zoom this back out. And still not seeing any kind of consistent structure here for that rotation. I think that rotation west, really southwest now of Mount Calm, I don't think that's going anywhere right now. But this line continues to just kind of do the same thing everywhere. Gusty winds possible, some hail possible as well. And thank you again to my lovely wife for the water. I'm sure you can tell my voice is starting to get kind of weak here. I've got to film a promo at Texas Motor Speedway tomorrow morning. I don't know how. I'm hoping I have my voice at that point. Man, this has been a ride. But yeah, we're going to continue to watch this move through, and gusty winds are really going to be the primary issue here. Hail is possible here as well. We've had varying hail sizes, ping pong size hail possible in some of these storms. One thing I want to mention is we have this new development between Mejia and Groesbeck here. So yeah, going to be between those two areas. We have some new development here. That could be interesting. It could really do two things. One, it could kind of limit the inflow to this line, which could cause it to weaken, but at the same time, you could have a new line that kind of takes over for the old one. These squall lines, when you see them go over multiple states, it's not usually the same line. It kind of redevelops upon itself. It happens simultaneously, so it's hard to notice it. But that's kind of how these things work. So, new development further south of the line, but that it could just be the whole system itself recycling. But not seeing any kind of imminent tornado threat here. I think the later we get into the night, the more of a solid structure we have here, the less of a tornado threat we're going to see. Things should start calming down pretty soon in the Corsicana area. Plenty of lightning there still. But as that front end of the line, you can see right there, you can kind of see the heaviest rain. That's probably where the strongest winds are as well. So that's kind of where we're going to be watching for the most intense activity. And yeah, I mean, we're kind of finally getting to a point here where things are calming down. Things are starting to relax a little bit. So Definitely calmer than they were earlier tonight. Oh, man. What a crazy, crazy storm. David Hadley over in Rice reporting that a lot of heavy rain came down, and I'm sure it did. I mean, there's a lot of heavy rain in this storm. Flooding in Italy. How long do we think it's going to rain? I mean, the rain. I would say that the rain that's in the Italy area right now. We'll put this back into motion here. The rain that's in the Italy area right now, I would say that may continue for at least the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. There, and then once this kind of pulls eastward, that should kind of calm things down. What about the notches near Kearns and Mildred? We'll get over that way, and I'm gonna take a peek here. I don't think so. What we're seeing here as far as winds, this one near Currents doesn't really worry me. I'm not seeing any kind of inflow outflow reciprocation there, at least from what I can tell. And then towards Mildred and Eureka, yeah, there's some stronger wind gusts here, possibly some downbursts going on in that area, but I'm not seeing rotation necessarily. I don't think. Let me adjust the camera a little bit here. See if I can. That's too much. There we go. Because I keep going off the camera here. Yeah, so I don't think that we're looking at rotation here, at least not at this point. We can keep an eye on that. But yeah, I don't think that we're seeing that in that particular area. And there's, you're going to possibly see little pockets here of stronger winds. But I do not believe that we're seeing rotation in those areas. So let me continue to kind of follow some comments here. Okay, I think we've about covered everything. Now, I will say the YouTube channel has definitely picked up some traffic here. If you're watching on Facebook, I would advise you to go over to the YouTube channel and definitely, definitely check that out. Check out the improved quality. The quality is far and away better than on the Facebook stream there. So definitely an improvement there. And from what I can tell, again, yeah, I'm watching this area of rotation, and that's just really south of Mount Calm, north of Elk here, east of Belmead, and it's just trying to circulate a little bit there, but it's just not been able to hold anything consistent there. So I think we're okay. I've been asked about these areas near Currens and near Mildred. I don't think I really see anything kind of consistent rotation that could be tornadic there either. Just some kind of pulses of some stronger winds. Definitely stronger winds picking up near the Mildred area though, towards Mildred and Eureka. This area, I would say, be aware of really straight line winds is the main concern here, and over towards the Kearns area too. So that's going to be the area that that I think we need to watch most closely. So yeah, and overall, let's get back to the reflectivity here. So right now, when it comes to the severe stuff, really just southern Hill County at this point, from Hubbard, Dawson, over towards Abbott and West, we're really south of West now, over in McLennan County. A few more town names on here. You have to really zoom in, so I feel like I'm excluding stuff. But again, Penelope, Malone, Hubbard, and Mount Calm, that area in Hill County still dealing with some gusty winds and possibly some hail there. And then really most of Navarro County still getting pretty heavy rain here. But the leading edge of that is starting to move towards Wortham, towards Winkler, Rural Shade, Trinidad. Probably some strong winds in Eureka and Kearns right now. So, definitely need to be watching that there. I would say I don't think in those areas, Eureka currents, you don't need to be, taking tornado precautions, but you want to be farther away from windows maybe. Maybe kind of stick around the center part of your house, stick around the first floor, just in case those winds do swell up. And they can swell up very quickly on the leading edge of that storm system. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Things are definitely kind of calming down, becoming a little bit more generalized here. And, Matt, I'm sure things are pretty quiet on your end as well. Okay, yeah. So I mean, things are significantly improving here. Um, if we take a look, let's take a look at south of Currens, around the Round Prairie area. Take a look at the velocity there. And so this is what we've been watching. This area between Mildred and Eureka down towards Richland. Strong winds there. Let's wait and see what this update tells us here in the next few minutes, because looks like we were looking at the reflectivity trying to maybe show a little bit of circulation, trying to pop up there. And even if it doesn't look like it's going to rotate now, these things wrap up very quickly. So definitely need to be watching that. I mean, the tornado situation, we don't have confirmation right now of a tornado in Midlothian. We don't have any reason to confirm that. We had a confirmation of a funnel cloud and confirmation of power flashes. Power flashes is one of those things that when you have tornadoes at night or rain wrapped, something like that, that is a key indicator that trained spotters are trained to watch for. That can be a sign that the tornadic circulation is on the ground and doing damage. So that's something definitely that needs to be watched very closely. So that was in Midlothian, okay, between Midlothian and Ovilla. So, but that's the only tornado warning we've had tonight. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for most of this area. Really, I guess we need to check the severe thunderstorm watch. If there's one south of the original one, let me just check and see. Let me get just an overall look at the warnings here. So, yeah, I don't see a severe thunderstorm watch south of Freestone and Limestone counties. Doesn't look like McLennan County is included in one, so that goes until 2 a.m. So really, when it comes down to impacted areas that are included in the severe thunderstorm watch, McLennan County not included in the watch, that's Waco, but Freestone and Limestone counties are included in the severe thunderstorm watch until 2 a.m. I believe it's still until 2 a.m. Let me see. Yeah, 2 a.m. So yeah, Anderson, Freestone, Limestone was extended those to those areas. But yeah, this is really it. And we can toggle that, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. But again, Freestone, Limestone, and I get Freestone and Limestone mixed up all the time. So I'm going to get these two confused constantly. But Anderson County here, and then Freestone and Limestone, Groesbeck, Fairfield, Palestine, included in that severe thunderstorm watch until we get to 2 a.m., which is about 2 hours and 12 minutes from now. So really, when you get beyond that, they'll probably issue another warning further southwest. That may be another county warning area, to be honest with you, another National Weather Service office. So that may not be Fort Worth jurisdiction. They may be waiting on the next office further south to make that determination. Well, the good news is, behind all of this, my understanding of it, I don't believe the forecast has really changed. Yeah, the next couple of days will be in the low 80s. So, the cool air is going to wait a little while. However, we'll be in the 70s for a few days. So, Saturday, Sunday, we're in the 70s. Looks like next week, looks like Monday could be looking a little bit warmer and towards the low to mid 80s. So a little bit of a warmer forecast, but we'll take mid 80s over mid 90s. Absolutely, without a doubt. And then, as I've kind of alluded to, uh, I will be working with the Texas Motorplex. Not Texas Motor Speedway, but the Motorplex. I think I said Motor Speedway earlier tonight. That was incorrect. It's Motorplex that I will be working with in the Motorplex in Ennis. That I will be working with to do a promotion with them. And, they've got events coming up, and the weather's going to be gorgeous for it. So you'll see more about that on the page there. And and Shalina, you're asking if in you said in Malakoff, if the tornado threat is over. I don't know that we can confidently say the tornado threat is over, but I don't see an imminent tornado threat right now. I would say it's unlikely. We said that earlier tonight, and then there was a tornado warning in Midlothian area. So, but again, I think the more we see this, and here's an update, and I still don't see any kind of rotation here. But the more we see this squall line progress, that has really mitigated the tornado threat a lot. And really the tornado threat we saw in the Midlothian area was because we had one storm that was holding on to that supercell structure. It was being very stubborn, and it was fighting against that squall line, kind of congealing into that line. It has long since done that. But you're going to be looking at that not really being the case with the rest of this squall line continuing on to the southeast. So the tornado threat, I'm not sure if we can say that it's completely gone at this point, but it's definitely not what it was earlier tonight when we had that last lone supercell thunderstorm that decided to really ramp things up and make things crazy. But the good news is that this severe thunderstorm warning continues in southern Hill County and most of Navarro County here, another one in far eastern Navarro County. But the good news is that the leading edge of this, where most of this intense weather is, has moved on to the south. It is moving on to the east. So, that you're going to continue to see a strong wind, kind of hail threat in that area, frequent lightning and thunder, very heavy rain. But that pretty much is the limit of what we see at this moment for those areas. And it's starting to move into Limestone, Freestone counties here, into Henderson County. So really, most of Navarro County at this point is no longer in the threat of the leading edge of this storm. And here's that new severe thunderstorm warning. So down towards Fairfield, over towards Palestine, up into southern Henderson County. David, you're saying still lightning and Rice. Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be some lightning maybe on the back side of that. Any of this activity we can see overnight, you're still going to have a chance, at least, of seeing some lightning and thunder and that sort of thing. And, you still can see some rumbles of thunder and things overnight. A question about Ferris. Ferris is just getting rain at this point. Nothing severe there right now. Gun Barrel City, still in a severe thunderstorm warning. You're still getting the strong winds, very heavy rain, possibly some small hail there. Still included in that severe thunderstorm warning. So you still need to just stay smart with those storms up there. I would say really most of Hill County at this point. If you're north of Mount Calm and Hubbard, Malone here, most of Hill County is clear to that severe thunderstorm threat. Really north of 31 in Navarro County, may still be getting some heavy rain, but the severe weather threat has passed south of 31 at this point and is, again, mostly on moving into northern Freestone and Limestone counties here. So definitely things have calmed down significantly, at least in terms of that severe weather threat. Take another quick look at the velocity view, and I don't see anything that immediately has me really concerned. We've been watching this area just outside of Elk and Hallsburg, over in far eastern McLennan County here. Is trying to do different things. And of course, this is getting pretty far away from the radar, so we're looking pretty high up in the storm here. So some stronger winds, but again, I'm not seeing any kind of radar. So so update on the weather cat. He's refusing to come inside and ran from you. So just now trying to catch him. So it sounds like Tiger's being pretty stubborn out there. So who knows what's going on there? We'll never know. But that's, he's going to do his thing. So, we'll let him figure all that out from there. Just catching up on some other alerts here. Yeah, so I'm just following some updates. Okay. Yeah, so not seeing anything new, and I mean I'm looking at this, looking back at some of these pictures on this Ellis County tornado warning we had, and just incredible pictures on the radar, just nuts. But and just 1 minute to go, 64 mile per hour wind gusts just measured at the Corsicana Municipal Airport. So that's going to be back in the Corsicana area on the leading edge of that storm. So 64 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's like I said, your criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning is 58 miles per hour winds or higher. So that definitely qualifies now. So and winds picking up on the edge of Carl's Corner and Hillsborough now. So in that area, back in the Hillsborough area, Carl's Corner there, you're looking at really the backside of all this. So that you may be starting to get some of the winds from that cold front that's going to be blowing in that drier air. So that's probably what you're getting in that particular area. So not any storms in that area, not any storms moving into Hillsborough or Carl's Corner right now. If anything, that might be some of that drier air intruding there, trying to push all of this activity out. So the severe weather threat definitely making its way out of Hill County now, making its way out of Navarro County, pushing eastward, pushing southward. And going to continue to move out of our area. So I think for the sake of me getting a chance to kind of catch my breath here, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this stream. We will continue to monitor this as it continues to move out of our area. And then, we will definitely, we'll watch this as long as it's in this area. But for the most part, that severe weather threat is moving out of Hill and Navarro counties. And for the rest of the night, just again, a gusty wind and a small hail threat, frequent lightning, very heavy rain. But aside from that, things are mostly come to an end. So Dylan, just pretty much going to take daylight inspection to confirm a tornado out in that area, in the Midlothian area. We didn't have any confirmation of that. The only thing we got confirmation of, like I said, was some power flashes, which is a pretty good indicator, but not firm confirmation. And then we did have some confirmation of a wall cloud with a funnel cloud. So, but yeah, it'll take the National Weather Service doing a survey of that area to know for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll continue to monitor this throughout the rest of the evening as this squall line finally exits our area and cooler temperatures